Boker Tov, everyone. We're continuing in Shir HaShirim Perek Bet Pasuk Chet. Kol dodi hine zeba medaleg al harim mekapetz al hagevaot. So if you recall from the end of last Pasuk, Et ha'ava al shetechpatz, Shlomo HaMelech says that the Mashiach is going to come, the love is until techpatz, until Hashem has the chafetz, until Hashem wants it. And the goyim shouldn't get involved if they see Bnei Yisrael in the down, etc. It's ad shetechpatz. And now, continuing on that vein, Shlomo HaMelech talks about the Atid Lavo, the coming of the Mashiach, and says as follows: Kol dodi, the voice of my beloved, Hine zeba, is coming. The voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is coming. Medaleg al harim, skipping over the mountains. Mekapetz, from the lashon of kofetz, jumping, ala gevaot, jumping over the valleys. So this is a pasuk that talks about the coming of the Mashiach, but in a faster way. Just like in Mitzrayim, there was the original was 400 years. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we came out after 210 years. So too, Hashem is going to bring back the ketz, the day of the coming of Mashiach. It's going to be earlier than what it was supposed to be. Medaleg al harim mekapetz al hagevot. What does it have to do with jumping over mountains and skipping over mountains and jumping over valleys? Harim, the mountains, is compared to the avot HaKadoshim, and the valleys are compared to the imahot. As it's a zechut of, just like in Mitzrayim, bizchut the avot and the imahot, we came out early, so too, when it comes time for the Mashiach, it's going to be bizchut the avot and the imahot. And this pasuk is saying that when a person thinks that, you feel like it's you've given up, it's been so long, have in your mind that just like in the time of Mitzrayim we came out early, so too it's going to be early, even though it has been a really long time, but it's going to be earlier than the allotted time. The Sefer Rokeach brings a few beautiful remazim over here, that the end of the last pasuk is ad shetechpatz, ends with the letter tzadik, and this pasuk starts kol dodi with the letter kuf. That's the word ketz. The ketz is the time, which is referring always to the time of the Mashiach. Also, techpatz ends with the letters pei tzadik, and the kuf, pei tzadik kuf, is the word ketzef. Ketzef also means Hashem's anger. That when are we gonna come back, Mishrat Hashem, to the time of the Mashiach? When Hashem's anger is subsided, and the pei is eventually going to be gone. Techpatz, the pei is going to be gone. It's just going to be left the tzadik and the kuf, which is the ketz. Hine zeba. Hine is the gematria of 60, which always refers to the 60, 10,000. Shishim ribo. Bnei Yisrael is 600,000. Ze is the gematria of 12, which is the 12 shevatim. And ba is bet aleph, is the gematria of 3, which is the 3 avot. That Hashem's going to bring us back, and we're going to get the Mashiach very soon, and it's going to be for Bnei Yisrael, b'zchut shevatim, b'zchut avot. Medaleg al harim. Medaleg is the same letters as megadel. Hashem's going to bring us up from the word gadol. Medaleg is also medagel, from the word degel, that Hashem is going to raise us up, and as we spoke about, like a flag, and show us off in front of the whole nations. And last, the beautiful gematria, medaleg al harim mekapetz al gevaot, is the gematria ze bizchut ha'avot ve'ha'imaot. Beautiful, that it's bizchut ha'avot ve'ha'imaot. The Gaon of Vilna over here brings an unbelievable explanation. It says that there are 4 stages in the world. And it's actually, we say it every single Shabbat, 4 stages. Olam hazeh, Olam haba, Yemot HaMashiach, the days of the coming of the Mashiach, V'tchiyat HaMetim, and the days of the rising of the dead. And we say that every Shabbat at the beginning of Yotzer. In aroch lach Hashem Elokeinu ba'olam hazeh. There's no value, Hashem. You've no value on this world. I mean, you're so valuable that there's no value. Ve'en zulatach malkeinu lechayeh ha'olam haba. And there's nothing but you, Hashem, with regards to the living in the world to come. Efes biltecha goalenu limot HaMashiach. And there's nothing but you to redeem us at the time of the Yemot HaMashiach. And And who Hashem is like you that will give us the salvation of Techiyat HaMetim. So you see the 4 stages right here in the Yotzer. And he says these 4 stages are hinted to in this Pasuk as well. From the words, Kol Dodi Hine Zeba. Kol is a voice. When it comes time for Techiyat HaMetim, he brings a Pasuk that there's going to be a Kol Gadol and Rash Gadol. There's going to be big sounds, just like by the time of the giving of the Torah, of the rising of the dead. There's going to be big sounds. That's the word Kol. Hine, Kol Dodi Hine Zeba. Hine is, we say every Motzei Shabbat, Rishon LeTzion Hine Hinam, right? So Rishon LeTzion is referring to the first of Tzion, of Yerushalayim, and the Beit HaMikdash, is referring to the time of the coming of the Mashiach. Hine, right? So Rishon LeTzion Hine Hinam, it's coming, it's here. So Mashiach so Hine is, and we all talk about Eliyahu and Avi on Saturday night, etc., coming to the Mashiach. So the word Hine refers to Mashiach. Ze, Hine Ze Ba. Ze is Olam HaZeh, Ba, Olam Haba. All 4 are hinted to at the beginning of this Pasuk. Then he continues and says as follows. It says over here, Medaleg al ha'arim, mekapetz al gevaot. Medaleg is to skip, mekapetz is to jump. What's the difference between a skip and a jump? What's the difference between a skip and a jump? A skip is with 1 foot, a jump is with 2 feet. That's what he says, the Gemara says. And he says that also has a connection to Medaleg al ha'arim, a skip over mountains and a jump over valleys, because mountains, he says, are very sharp, and so therefore you go 1 foot to 1 foot. If you're walking up a mountain or climbing up a mountain, you go 1 foot to 1 foot, because putting 2 feet in a location, I guess, is not enough space or too sharp. Whereas jumping over valleys, or it's softer, and you could even jump in skips of 2. And this connects to the next pasuk, because now it's going to be talking about the time of Mashiach, which is Domeh Dodi Tzvi Ole Ofer Ha'yalim, which we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But there's a connection to a Tzvi and the Ayal, which was also last pasuk. The Tzvi is the deer, the Ayal is the gazelle. The deer runs fast, but it runs 1 foot like normal, whereas a gazelle always jumps very fast. So that's the 2 feet. That's connecting to that. And this connects to the 2 types of ways that Hashem is going to bring Mashiach early. Through 2 feet and 1 feet. What does this mean? When Hashem told Abraham Avinu at the time with regards to Mitzrayim, he told him there's going to be a gezerah, but 2 ways he said it. He said there's going to be 400 years, Dalam Meot Shana, and Dor Revi'i Yashuvu Hena. The 4th generation is going to come back to Eretz Yisrael. And Hashem brought both of those back earlier. And he says as follows: generations is steps. You need 2 in order to have a generation. Meaning, if you have just 1, there's not generations here. There's a father, son, grandson. You need 2, at least father, son, to have what's called generations. But time is all 1. Time is one thing. So that's the 1 and the 2. So Hashem brought closer the 400 years to 210 years, and the generations also were skipped, even though it says Dor Revi'i. So what's the Dor Revi'i? So Rashi already says Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim. Yehuda, Peretz, Chetzron. Chetzron's son, Kalev ben Chetzron, came up already back to Israel. So that's the 4 generations. Yaakov, Yehuda, Peretz, Chetzron. But if you look in the 70 people that went down to Mitzrayim, Parashat Vayigash, there, Chetzron also went down to Mitzrayim. All of them, they were already alive. Yaakov, Yehuda was alive, Peretz was alive, and Chetzron was alive. So really, the 4 generations was really, Chetzron was alive, and his son came out, so it was really like 1.5 generations. So when Hashem said 4 generations, it's Hashem also removed and took away time, was really kind of like 1.5 generations. So that's the connection over here from Medaleg al ha'arim, Mekapetz al gevaot, and Bezrat Hashem, we're going to see very soon, Hashem is going to end the time very quickly to bring us the Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'mehera v'yamenu, Amen. B'bi Chananel Hashem v'ratzak HaKadosh Baruch Hu zakot, Et Yisrael v'yecha chibaram k'nom so shne'emar, Adonai chafetz ma'at tzidko, yagdil Torah v'yadir.